Ground Zero coming up with the goods. They've taken the first game. Can they complete their reign of terror in the LCO in Week 3? We're going to have to wait and find out, but what an exceptional game out of this conqueror of a team. They are basically Alexander the Great right now, and they're looking to take over everywhere. But we have to look at this beautiful bot lane from Fury as well, Tally. They were looking so good, and big props to Hooper.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, Lemus had that overextension in the early game, which was really well punished by Findo, and they used that ability to, snowball the rest of the map. We saw that they blew the flash on mid on Fido, and that really turned into a big CS lead for Chirp. Findo was doing a really good job at running around the map and making sure he was able to pressure, matching Lemus roaming all the time, and Hooper was doing a really good job, winning these skirmishes in bot lane and staying on the clock when it came to stacks and farming and getting plates, and he was very strong this game.
But as well, Skimmy, you can't deny that the Ornn Center seems to be this inevitable bot lane that, at the end of the day, will do some damage.
I mean, it really will. For all the woes in the early game, you're thinking, hang on a minute, how are they losing straight 2v2? Lemus was able to roam all over the map, assist in every single position. Kurek was able to individually become incredibly strong, and then we saw multiple occasions. We saw at the Baron a two-man knockup. We'll see it here in a second as well with another two-man knockup. Just clutch moments like that serve the team fight win on a silver platter for the rest of your team to profit, right? You can jump across the wall as the Camille, as the Kha'Zix, snipe them away, and easy pickings. But back to the Hooper point as well, he wasn't weak, he was incredibly strong, and he was actually able to probably kite out every single fight if it wasn't for that pesky Camille ultimate that locked him in place. So look, I really hope it continues, because it's great to see Hooper be incredibly competitive against some of the league's best.
Yeah, he's looking so good. It's probably, I think, of all the years I've been watching LCO, especially with Hooper joining when he first came in as an amateur, he's looking so good now. He's got confidence behind him. I think with the right support as well is really giving him that ease to lean up. But this way, at the same time, very good damage. But I want you to talk about this build with me here, Tally.
Yeah, Hui is really, really strong this match. I would probably consider him the best performing mage on the current patch, but I think that the build Fido went for doesn't really work with the champion anymore, because we saw the nerfs to the Blackfire Torch. Luna's is a much better performing item, and Leandry's as an item doesn't really work for Hui because it offers no ability haste, and this champ really wants ability haste. So one of the best second items for Hui, the best in slots you would be looking for, is the Horizon Focus, and you get a lot more upfront damage and access to more ability haste, which means you can cycle your kit a lot more, proc more passives, and just do an insane amount of damage.
Still, 18k on top there was looking pretty good. Just a lot of consistent, that double kill sort of in that nice jungle dragon sort of fight was really nice to see. And then also slowing down Hooper there too, being like, I'm not going to let you get away that easy. But it's a little dragon, can get away fairly good. So I'm really excited to see how Fido's going to sort of change it up maybe in the next game too. Like you said as well, it's had such a great showing. Do you think we could see something a little bit different? I know we've got the Akshan, we've had a bit of Cass play. Do you want to see him on something a little bit different there, Skimmy?
Maybe. I think if he does go to another champion, we're going to have Telly doing this excuse me, what is that build you're playing? That is an illegal position. If I was playing this game, I would have won 10 minutes ago. Lock it in, Fido. Focus up, mate. I think that's what's going to happen. Actually, I think that is what's going to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if Fido receives the text of all 5 champions being banned away again, and he's just what do I play now, guys? Oh, I can't play a champion that's a mage. Telly can't flame me anymore.
But actually, I would have gone 1 CS better over that. I would have gone 11 CS actually if I was. But I do agree with that. I'm pretty keen to see what's going to be coming up next. I think I'm so sorry. What do you think the big thing about the GZ draft really picked up in that game there, Tally?
Definitely the Camille. I think that the fact that Ground Zero's comp wasn't, one-dimensional, it's not oh, we can only win through team fights. It's the fact they had that side lane win condition is so big. And we keep seeing this over and over again in these Oceanic games, is when you have that side lane win condition, it's so much easier to play the game when you have the constant push out in the side lane, the ability to flank, the ability to get deep wards in the jungle. It just makes playing the game much easier. And once again, we saw on the replays, we would always see Fury bunched up in mid lane as 4, just waiting for the wave to come, waiting for Ground Zero to make a play, because they can't do anything on the map because they have no control.
It's pretty big. I want to also pitch just really quickly, that Kha'Zix pick, Skimmy, you talked about the assassins being sort of locked in. What was your thoughts after seeing the gameplay on Schönfire?
Look, Chern can do no wrong. If I say anything bad, he'll probably Muay Thai me IRL and I'll just die. So that's why we're casting online. So I'm actually safe from him. Not joking. Obviously, Kha'Zix, yeah. I thought it did well. I thought it did really well. I thought it linked up quite nicely with the Camille. So any stragglers that got low, it was easy for them just to prep on that, right? I think their weakest looked like when they were grouped together. Whilst you could favor that, like Fido can hit massive AoE, easier knockups to the Ornn. Also did limit the impact of the isolation, but I think by that point you're probably in a pretty good first world problem. Like, oh, damn, we can't win the fight as easily as we have beforehand. What a shame. Yeah, I think it's back to the drawing board though for Fury. I think the Camille has to be banned. Like, teams just aren't able to try and shut down Tien on this champion. Force them onto something else. If you don't ban like the Camille, he'll just like slam a Poppy and you'll just have to lose to that instead. So yeah, I think maybe targeting Fido wasn't the right direction, but happy to be proven wrong. We'll see what happens in game 2.
Well, we have something a little bit different now, guys. Something we've been waiting for. I know Twitch chat's been looking for this. We got some from the fans looking really good. The big one we put up was show us the rarest / most prestigious skin you own. Ooh, I had to give it sort of like that jazz hands as well. I want to see the very first one. So go, ooh, look at
Whoa, a soundboard.
But ooh, T-Split coming in with the PAX Twisted Fate. How rare is this though, Tally?
I think it's the rarest skin in the game. If I am correct, you know, the old gross score skin. Oh, probably one of TF's worst skins, I will say. He has a lot of really good skins. You know, the Doped skin is very good, but this is probably one of the most prestigious skins in the game.
I like it though. Like, I think that was what, 2018 or no? It was.
No, it says.
Before that.
Oh, it even says on the screen, PAX 2009 acquired in 2023. I like this. T-Split, you're my goat. You've let receipts. You've said, look, here's my stamp of authenticity. It's been signed. It's sealed. I have it. I'm cool.
I'll take it. Thanks for selling me that account. No, you can't do that. Don't worry about it. But let's get to the next one and see what is another one from our fans. Next rarest skin on the board. Wait. Hold on.
There's no way.
When did Styx unlock that one?
Hold up.
There's no way.
Yo, I got the Pool Party Why Not 975 RP on my Smurf.
So that's where he went, bro. He just became a skin.
I'm pretty sure you got the skin when you transferred to Oceania when the server came out.
Everyone just got a pocket Why Not? They all just got that in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually, if you win LCO, you get that skin. Yeah. They didn't
True.
actually put that in the original prize. Like, you get the money. That's nice, but you get that skin too. So we'll have to get a couple different like poses from him maybe. Because we know we get the dances, right? We get to see the cool dances from him.
True.
I want to see him do another one. But we also have some Twitch channel points that you need to lock in to support your favorite team. It is... Oh, I'm so lucky I went the right way again. It's in that corner. Go put them in. GZ or Fury. You know you want to do it, but I can't make you do it. That's the difference. So I'm going to be here to just inform you that it's ready to go. But we're looking pretty good, though, Skimmy. I haven't actually put any in today. I'm devastated. The first 2 games, it was a draw. I was going to put a draw. I can't put my money on a draw.
No.
Sorry. Channel points.
I put
Can't do it.
I put all my points on the second game, and I'm fresh out, guys. They're all gone.
Oh.
Fresh
out.
Well, I've not put my points in at all. They just sit there and I go, I'll remember to do it. Then like 5-10 minute delay, whatever, like all the delay comes in. Oh, I'm too busy casting. I can't look over my other screen and do that. So
I'm just gonna stack for like the grand finals. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stack it right now. I'm not gonna do anything. And then when I get there, all in. First game. Done. Easy. If it's
I
a loss,
feel like
bummer.
we do need to get some LCO channel point rewards though, right? Because like at the moment it's just a case of like I put in 100k. Like how cool am I? But Telly did bring it up, and I think it's a very dangerous game because there would be some people that take it way too seriously. But like 5 million points, get a high five. 10 million points, get roasted by Telly. Like you know, like there could definitely be some situations like
we could do it.
I'm just
Anything's possible.
I'm putting it
The
out
world is our oyster. But right now, Skimmy, we have to go to a break because we got the final game of the night coming up. Yes, Ground Zero versus Fury. Who's going to take home that 2-0? Is it going to be Ground Zero or is it going to be a draw? You'll have to wait and see. See you there.
High stepping with passion when we get action. And if you good with the vibe, it's natural attraction. And we out. I ain't tripping off none of them asking. If I come through dripping, I tell them I'm splashing. But look, peep game, this ain't nothing new. Cause it's amazing what a little breeze in the sun will do. I know they watching when I'm coming through. Tell me, do you run the opportunities or do they run to you? I see something and want it and now I've got it. Feel the beat bumping and pumping like hydraulics. So if your energy ain't right, then save me the trouble, alright?
Can't bring my vibe down. Can't bring my vibe down.
shine bright like a star that you seen in the sky. Brush past saying bye to the haters. Rise above the freight every day like elevators. Try and underestimate us, don't debate, cause it's fate, we the greatest. Star-studded like entertainers. Take a chance, just go, no stopping. And dance like it's no one watching. But if your energy ain't right, then save me the trouble, alright?
Can't bring my vibe down. Can't bring my vibe down tonight. Can't bring my vibe down. Can't bring my vibe down tonight. You gotta keep on dancing through the night, and when the day comes, you'll be in their minds. You gotta keep on dancing through the night. Can't bring my vibe down. Can't bring my vibe down tonight. Baby, I got your number. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Here's the reason that Kevy's after becomes Tavares. Forced out of the stopwatch, it's carnage! Only triple happening here is for Phyto. Oh, Tavares! It's do or die! And welcome back for the final time tonight. Ground Zero still undefeated, still the champions, and still showing no signs of slowing down in this regard. Tally Fury certainly gave them a few headaches, but ultimately not enough for them to try and fall down.
Yeah, definitely a few headaches, but I think it's telling to see how like Ground Zero can still look so shaky in the early game, but still have such a dominating performance whenever they find that little lead that they need. Like they always seem to close out the game very quickly when they find that one Baron, the one Dragon Soul, and the game is just instantly over. So I think it's a nice sign to see that our top team is so strong from ahead.
Well, that's great, right? Because we've certainly seen some of the other top teams struggle sometimes, even with those major gold leads. You're thinking, what is the difference? What has made them find it so easily in comparison? And obviously, we'll have to wait and see how the other teams do going into week 3 to continue that talking point. But as it stands right now, I think there's a world in which Fury can certainly challenge. We saw it definitely in the bot lane. It was a big talking point with how far ahead the likes of Hooper and Finder were able to get. But I'm sure on the flip side, it didn't feel too good for Tomasito just to be like, you're going to be left on your own, you're going to fall on down, you're just going to have to chalk it up because the rest of us are trying to, find a winning fight over here instead.
Yeah, we definitely saw that Tomasito had a much harder time than we're used to seeing from him in the 1v1. He was getting camped quite a lot, and that snowballed into a very one-sided matchup. But he is on the red side now, so like Tien doesn't get access to picking the Camille on 3, banning out 2 counters, and just being in a much more comfortable position. So like we'll hopefully see Tomasito in a much better matchup and game state based on the side selection.
Well, one thing stays the same though. You can flip the sides, but you can't deny that first pick onto Nautilus. All the bans stay the same as they did in game
Sip
1. Sip of tea, and you're going to be absolutely A-okay. But I am curious to see how much this does affect the draft, because Fido, as we mentioned, just did look so impressive on the Nautilus. Not to say he can't play other champions, but curious to see if they're going to look to say, if you don't want the center on, we'll go for it instead.
And Skimmy, I want to touch on the fact that we keep seeing Nautilus as a first pick. I think he sucks as a first pick, and one of the biggest counters to Nautilus is the Braum, and we're not seeing this come out over and over again. I think one of the hardest matchups for Naut as a champion to function to is the Ashe Braum. It's like when you do hook in, you don't have kill threat against a Braum, and once you get tagged up, it's so hard to navigate the amount of slows that are shot into you, the amount of like CC that comes out from that combo. I think it's very, very hard to play. So I'd really, really like to see Fury lock in a Braum here and to punish this Nautilus first pick.
What do you think it is we're getting so much first pick Nautilus? Is it almost like fake stats where you win and you're like, oh, well, I had to be the Nautilus, where in actuality it was just other champions that were part of it? Because, I mean, look at this. They're saying, if you don't deny the Senate, we'll take that. If you don't deny the Camille, we'll lock that in too.
Well, like, this is the reason why. It's because the Naut as a farming champion is way stronger than Naut as a support, and Braum won't really punish this super tank Nautilus. And Senna is the reason why Naut is so strong. It's like, you can pick him as a first pick. If they do take away the Senna pairing, you can just play a normal bot lane. He's still going to function completely fine because you have that point and click ult, which is going to punish, either the mid laner or the AD carry, which is usually the mobile champion. With the center pairing though, you are the super tank. You are able to farm, you are able to play this 1v3 weak side champion, this super engaged champion. Just fulfills every role that you need from like a blind pick champion on blue side.
There is the Brawn ban as well, so they definitely are aware that if you aren't going to punish us with that pick in the early rotation, then we're going to deny that and make sure that the rest of your draft is almost shoehorned into a certain direction where it isn't truly optimal to counteract it. 2 more bans come out, this time targeted towards Schönfire, his coveted brand, and that most recent performance on the Kazakhs.
Yeah, and we are seeing this Ash priority coming out of Fury, so they're definitely changing their game plan. They probably think that they need this extra bit of engage. Hooper, very good, player on the Ash. We saw it in the past that he's had a lot of success on this champion. It's a very, very strong laner, and it is one of the AD carries that allows you to engage. And we don't really get to see AD carries, playing these engage tools. And most of the time they are on these, sit back and wait for your team to do the job. But Hooper, who is having like such good performances today and in weeks past, I think it's really nice to see him play a very proactive champion.
Yeah, give him a little bit more agency. We don't mind that whatsoever. The Braum is partnered then with the Renata for 2 support bans to make sure that it can't really space glide all over the opposition. We'll have to see what their response is to this because they've gone for the Renekton to try and shut down the Camille. We like that in isolation, but then what is the next, I suppose, de facto pick? It's going to be an Alistar, which is also a bit of a Findo specialty, but does this tick the tally box of being suitable as opposed to the Braum?
I mean, obviously Braum is better and Renata's better. It's way better at dealing with the dive, but Alistar is a good blanket pick because you have so much CC to deal with the Camille. They have so many answers already on the side of Fury to deal with this Camille dive, and Tien is a problem on the champion. He keeps having these very, sufficient laning phases, and, once he hits that mid game, he's taking off. And once again, we talk about Schönfire being this, mage player. He wants to lock in these AP junglers. We have to see what AD pairing that Fido wants to go with here.
Yeah, I mentioned the last game as a potential option. This time it comes out to play what could be used in the mid lane with the Shisano denied, the Akshan, the Corki. We run it down a list as to what does Fido have left in the tank to showcase here to really bridge this all together. And he's going to, for the meantime, liberate and actually guarantee it. So you know what? We're going for the Sylas. Single AD source will be in those 2 options already locked in. And in terms of hijacking, I think it almost feels shoehorned in. Whenever there's an Alistar, you must lock in the Sylas.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Sylas has access to pretty much 3 of his best ults, I would say, minus the Nara ult. But the Ashe ult, the Xin Zhao ult, the Alistar ult, all insane ults by themselves. You can pretty much cycle the Alistar ult by itself because it's such a low cooldown for the Sylas. Once Sylas gets, that rank 3 ulti with the Alistar ult, he's pretty much immortal in these team fights. He's going to create so much space for his Sen and Camille to do damage. The AP, double AP mid jungle doesn't really matter because they aren't really going to interact together. Shern just wants to farm. He wants to become strong in these skirmishes, in these team fights because they are such a low range comp. And like when he gets access to that, flash, sleep, he's going to have so much damage to deal with that. But once again, we see Chirp locking in the Cassio, one of these, unique champions that he gets to play. Very good into Ground Zero's low range comp. He can really punish all champions on the enemy team. Minus the center. I think Lemus will be the saving grace for Ground Zero to play into the Cassio. I think if Fury have a very, very nice comp to deal with what Ground Zero have shown, but Ground Zero once again have just picked very strong champions everywhere, and once again we get to see how strong these players are on their picks.
Does it almost feel like to you, Telly, that this draft is a much more even affair, but this is much more of a skill check, given that, the Renekton Camille is going to be volatile, and you're hoping that the Renekton can hold his own, that in the jungle it's not going to be too out of pace, and also you already mentioned the bot lane, but for mid lane as well, that, Cassio can actually find some advantages, because you would argue that one of the best champions that Fido has in his arsenal is the Cassio Pierce, so he should be well versed in how to fare up against it.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely a skill check. On paper, I would say Fury has 3 winning lanes. Like, they should have 3 pushing lanes and the ability to, they have a ganking jungler, whereas like Ground Zero, they don't have priority in pretty much any lane in the early game, minus the bot lane potentially, but we'll have to see how Tien trades in the early game and top lane. But Shern might have a hard time navigating the jungle in the early game if Nox does want to play for like this invade, be aggressive on the Xin Zhao, because we've seen it in the past. Xin Zhao is a good answer to the Lilia because it's so easy to keep Lilia locked down as you have access to all these dashes.
Well, with all that in mind, Tally, let's see if they can do the unthinkable here. Fury 2-0 up against Team Bliss, unable to take any kind of victory against them, but they were able to certainly answer the call and look like a tough challenge. They then went 1-1 last week up against Antic, and now into Ground Zero, potentially with their best draft up against them, knowing that they've let that Camille go through. They feel like they've formulated a plan to shut that champion down. Let's see if they can put that into practice here, or if Ground Zero will continue to be this undefeated juggernaut.
Yeah, I would say this is a tall task for Ground Zero to navigate. Like, the Sylas has a lot of potential this game, very, very high ceiling on the champion, but can also be absolutely useless based on how the laning phase goes. I think if Chirp plays this lane well, he can really bully Fido in the 1v1. And the champs on Ground Zero don't really want to go mid and skirmish, because if the Alistar and the Xin Zhao match that, it's going to be a very one-sided affair.
So from the early game, I suppose, you mentioned just how much aggression and tendency, or ease of access, I suppose, more than anything, is for Nox to interact with these lanes. Is there a preference of a lane that you want him to go to? Is it as simple as saying, go top, almost say, I'm sorry, Thomasino, for leaving you on a line in game 1. Let's get you back into the focus for game 2 and keep this kill at bay?
I think that, Nox has the options, which is the main thing. Like, Schoenfire really doesn't. He has to probably just respond to what Nox is going to do in the early game, whereas Nox has, he can shadow mid to make sure in the 1v1 Chirp can play aggressive. And if he does get ganked, they're going to use that health advantage from Chirp winning the 1v1 to, win the 2v2. He can go bot because they have access to the, gank threat from the Alistar. He can go top because they have a Renekton. He really has options, whereas, Shern's all about just making sure his lanes are able to play the game. As we see a nice hook onto Kurak, but it doesn't really matter because Ashe is such a strong champ early game.
Really good flash there. Pixel perfect from Limus to react there. As you could see that Fino was going in and was pretty keen and pretty close to landing that Pulverize. And that would have certainly set the tone for what was a weird series if they were to lose a second 2v2 bot lane. But to your point, yeah, I think it's exciting to see that there are options for Nox. It's a case of how does he look to try and exploit that, because the only real shake-up I can see for Tien this time is rather than going for a flash, he's gone for the Ignite because he really wants to have kill pressure.
Yeah, you need these extra combat summoners, especially against a Renekton, to be able to swing the 1v1 in the early game. It's all about like changing how the 1v1 works. Just a little bit of the dynamic change with the extra combat summoner. Like, you can play aggressive like this and really abuse the Ignite. Thomasino doesn't have access to the cooldowns yet, so it's going to be very close.
Yeah, it's getting closer. He sliced back in, but unable to land the Q thereafter. And Tien, even without jungle intervention, is able to find the first blood of this one. Nox, though, not going to be deterred by the ability for you to try and prevent yourself from falling on down. But don't tell me what is going on.
Tactical sweep.
Waiting. Cooldowns. 10 seconds away. Tack sweep. Not enough. Thomasino is back. Oh my god, what is happening in top lane?
Nox is a genius. Like, I don't think anyone else would have seen that angle besides him. As we do go back into bot lane, which is just going to be an easy kill pickup for ground zero. I assume Fido went for the combo and just slightly missed it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Nox decided, he hesitated a bit on the engage on top. Almost got picked up by Tien there if he decided to commit for the kill, but Thomasino clutches up and finds the kill. So his lane is saved now, based on this game state. But the whole time, Shern was full clearing. He's happy with this game state in the early game.
Shern is full clearing, Hooper is cleansing, and he is sidestepping to safety. I tell you what though, that play top lane completely stunlocked me. I just devolved into not even talking anymore, and it was just react emoting. Live on cast. That's how crazy things were here. Schoenfire into the jungle, bops him on his head, and says sweet dreams to Nox. Even without the lilting lullaby, he's locked you down and sent you back to the afterlife.
This is just a repeat of the first game, as we do see the Fury Polling going aggressive here. We have more action. Another easy kill pickup there with the Hex Splash coming out of Findo.
Now we're just literally, we're dragging people into the turrets because we're just so bored of fighting on a fair front. That's a great start though for Hooper, right? To have a support come back, crash a massive wave, and then be able to get a kill to, reward yourself.
Yeah, and this is to touch on what I brought up in the first game. We saw, Shern go for the full clear into the invade because Nox went for the early gank. And once again, Nox has gone for an early gank, and this is a devastating game state for him. He is level 3 to level 5. Lilia has got 2 camps on him already. This 1v1 in the jungle is extremely over for him.
This is brutal, much to your point, right? If you're looking to have all these lanes to gank, maybe too many options, in which case Shern is like, he's got the Moyai face on, he's just like, I farm camps, I clear, I become strong, I have more farm than my laners right now. That's how happy he is. He'll be level 6 in an absolute heartbeat, but Limus being a sneaky, sneaky little sinner. There's the route. Where are you going? Tien says, thank you so much. Hook shot off the wall, and there's a gank from your support.
Yeah, and Schoenfire doesn't even have to be the jungler because he can just farm while his support is the jungler. As we do see the gank go, the Fido will fall down.
Fido does get denied. That's the crucial point. So maybe not the worst case here for Fury, despite losing a member in the process. And it looks so clean. It looked like maybe Kurak had just gotten out, but they had more left in the tank.
As Nox, just decided to just deny Shern the kill. He knows it's coming. He just doesn't want to give him the gold. Gives it to the support. But an important thing to touch on is, Chirp finds the solo kill in mid lane. So the one winning matchup that they have, or one of the winning matchups that they have, is working the way they needed to. Shern's just going to play to deny the back, but he wants to be on the map as much as possible because he can really, bully the Zins out. Whenever he finds Nox, he can be up in his face. He can steal his camps in front of his face because his laners can't come save him.
Certainly can't. Let's run it back with this replay to see exactly how things materialize, because they're both level 5 at this point.
Yeah, so pretty much Fido dodged every single ability coming out of Chirp, but he gets touched by that one Q, and just the damage coming out of Cassidy when he get hit by the poison into the Twin Fangs is just unmatched at this point in the game.
How broken is Twin Fangs, hey? All it takes is one trickle of poison. It's like, alright, suddenly my damage profile has increased by like 9,000%. Even burning the flash for the extra Twin Fang afterwards, it was an overkill. That's how strong he was. But to touch on what we just saw there, Ground Zero picking up all 3 Void Grubs. Fury are looking at this Dragon. They have members in the area. They have a pushing bot wave, but they're not really too sold on it. They don't exactly know where Lemus is right now. As we can see, he's just freely rotating to top side, but Kurek is isolated once more.
This is a very hard dive to, navigate. He is extremely tanky. He's very close to level 6 as well. Let's see if he's going to be able to pick that up from these minions dying.
Can he find it? I don't know if it's going to be there. Findo, one more turret shot. It's just not enough. It looked like it had ramped up high enough, but it wasn't to be. Kurek denied. And now Lemus left to pick up the pieces by assisting in mid.
Yeah, I think that's probably that's a mistake for Ground Zero's side. There wasn't really a trade on the other side of the map, and they weren't there to counteract the dive. So I feel like just a bit slow on the map, but we are seeing the same story as last game. We're seeing like the mid 80 carry being really strong from the Fury side, but the top end jungle really struggling against what Ground Zero is showing in the early game.
Yeah, there is that power discrepancy, isn't there? It's a little bit mismatched, and it becomes awkward, I suppose, as to who has to suffer to try and almost drag everybody up onto the same level. But then it almost evens out that, no longer am I individually strong, we're on the same page because I have to give up so much of my own time that now my lane opponent has actually bridged ahead of me. We'll see if that changes anytime soon because it is still early days. It's still even on the kills, and there's not much in it. 5 kills, 500 golds. Now Findo's chance to try and be unleashed and see if he can find a roaming gank.
Yeah, I think that the roams coming out of Fury aren't really a proactive roam. It's more about like covering. We see Thomas in his way pushing out, so Findo wants to be in top to make sure he's able to play that. He gets spotted on the ward though, so nothing will happen to the end. But Chirp is in a lot of trouble here in mid with no flash.
There's no flash until he ever get out of jail free card. Even with the root connecting, Findo would have been the madman if he hit the chain to try and drag himself under turret there, but we'll just keep Chirp at bay for the meantime. I think the thing that I always find fascinating when Tien's in the game playing Camille is you're just waiting. When is it going to happen? When does he take over the game? And at what point does a team say, either we ban his champions or we need to really camp his lane? Because I don't know if you remember, but back at Split 1, right, for the first few weeks, Tien was losing lanes, he was falling behind, almost getting bored, you would say. Then a couple of weeks before playoffs came into effect, he just became like Zeus, right? He just became a god, and that form's not really dropped ever since.
Yeah, I think that's really a good thing to see. I do remember like Tien was like every time he got solo killed, his team would end up winning the game as soon as he fell down. But now we just see him winning every single matchup pretty much. Blind picking champs who should not be getting blind picked, this comfortably. And he's just doing a really good job in the 1v1 and playing very respectful as well of like potential jungle ganks. But to see if Kurek does go down here, he doesn't have access to the flash, and there's a lot of CC coming out of the Fury side.
There is a lot of CC. The Alistair passive stun, and you got the knockback afterwards as well. And there's Shadow coming from top lane as Lemus is like, oh, that's right, I'm meant to be with you for the 2v2. It feels like Kurek has been on his own for what feels like an eternity. Schönfire rocks up now, taking a bit of a detour from camp where he's up by 30 CS. He is so strong. And with the double buffs, you really would hedge your bets that he's going to find himself a double kill right now. Swirls it round, takes out Findo. Findo with a point-blank ultimate. Captain Jack cleansing out of it does Hooper. And this Ashe refuses to die.
Yeah, nice that Hooper was able to get out there with Fido coming for the roam. Chirp's going to have access to, just a little bit of push, bit of a, a safety net, getting some gold, but they are swapping the lanes up, so the gold will get picked up by the Ground Zero side. Very hard for Fury to walk back onto the turret here with Ground Zero members being around. We do see Fido coming out of base though. Hopefully they're able to, gather the resources that they've been missing so far and get a bit more control back on the map.
It doesn't feel like, Tally, that we're building up a similar story to Game 1 where it's like, who can carry harder, Hooper or Tien? Or does it feel almost more multifaceted this time because Schönfire is so strong?
2 seconds on the flash.
Chirp does have potential to take over it as well. Let's see if they can find his kill onto Fido. He preemptively flashes away. Fido still waiting for the headbutt pole, and in the end decides against it, and Fido must be breathing the biggest sigh of relief there.
Yeah, really good timing from the flash coming out of Fido. He sees the animation gets cast, instantly reacts, and it's just very easy to escape from him there. This, once again, is always going to favor Ground Zero because once, nothing is happening on the map, Shern's always farming, and we keep seeing the CS lead, the experience lead, the item gap. It just keeps growing over and over again, and Lilia is so good into the comp that Fury has shown, one flash can be, lights out for the entire roster.
There is something, though, about Schönfire and these AP junglers, though, isn't there? Every single time he gets it, he does become the star of the show. He does just simply carry, be it Talia, be it Brand, be it this, as the Lilia is in his own world, has so much trust in the rest of his team that they can individually hold their own, and they know that, look, this is what my game plan is going to be. Trust, and trust they do.
Yeah, and we hit the 11-minute mark, and we see the Triforce coming out of Tian already. So he's online, he's got his first item already, and Thomason only has components. Let's see if they do want to play for the 2v1 dive here, though. Chirp does have TP.
So Dominus burnt nice and early. Out comes the Introna Crystal Arrow. Instant cleanse, making a flash. Liam is buying time, showcasing that he just has more range than you. And refuses to die. You can see Tomasino, hand on his head. He's, I don't know what I want to say, but it almost looks like you're a little bit tilted by this point. This series has not been a fun one for him.
Yeah, Fighter doesn't have flash this time, but he does have access to the Zin ult. He does go for the Zin ult, so the LOL field, so you have to see he's able to live this one.
Instantly knocks him back, then there's the headbutt there after, but he can't take up this much. Surely not. There's no way he can life leech through that amount of pain. And that is to be the case. Now a 1v1 takes place with Schoenfire looking at Chirp. He dodges the swirling seed, says I'm still coming for you, gets a little bit of aggro, gets a little bit of vision as Kurek drags him back. Case comes, can you dodge out this poison? Or will you be forced to burn the ultimate, which is exactly what Schoen does?
Yeah, just a little bit of disengage as we see another kill happen.
Oh no! Just put a smile on Tomasino's face right now. I peer at his camera. He just looks so sad.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, you know, playing these volatile matchups and just like the enemy team committing so many resources into you. Tomasino tries to outplay the dive there, didn't really expect the Knowles to show up, so he was able to clear the wave, but unfortunately dashes into the enemy. And Kurek shows up with the hook, which means lights out for him, and like he gets Dove again without the ult. Very easy for the amount of damage coming out of the Kindle at this point.
So does my point, we'll hold that for 2 seconds. Let's run it back on the replay initially. What's actually just happened here? It's just a stun.
Yeah, just
into you're just dead.
Straight up damage profile coming out of these two champs in the Chameleon Center right now is very insane. Don't have access to the Dominus, so you are a very squishy champion when you only have access to the one item in your inventory.
My question from before then, I suppose, is obviously Ashe and Smolder be very different champions. Ashe with the extra engage, which is what they've clearly gone for in this draft. But do you think he has the ability to try and carry as hard as he may have done on the Smolder, or is it just too many factors now this game, right? You've got not only Tien, but also Schoen.
I would say that Ashe has more carry threat than the Smolder, especially on this patch. Like, when you misposition against the Ashe, you can't survive. You just, you know, with the flurry just starts shooting you in the back of the head. The amount of damage that will come out of Ashe, especially with the pressy attack, is going to be unmatched. So as she scales up, there's going to be a lot of damage, especially matched with the Cassio.
Let's see, speaking of the Cassio, that's exactly what Sherpa's looking to try and do now, is lock down a key target. Flash across the wall, hit the Twin Fang, and there's the Petrifying Gauge, just for good measure. Find one, find a second with the assistance of your jungler, and Nox is back in business. They will find that third. It becomes a double for the Snake. And maybe, just maybe, between both carries of Fury, a 6-0 combined scoreline, maybe there's a chance they can get back into this one. We look topside now, and Fido underneath his turret is taking a 1v1. He pops the Indomitable Will, looks at Tomasino and says, you can hit that ultimate, but I'm just simply tankier.
Yeah, but you know, Renekton just pops his own Dominus in return. He's just going to clear the wave and back off here. Have to see if Fido does want to go aggressive as the ult does drop off. But more than likely he won't. But you know, Timmy, once again, we're seeing this this team fight prowess that comes out of the Cassio. It's so easy to, you know, do so much damage to one champ, and like when they try to flash out, you hit them with the poison follow flash over the wall. Find the stun coming out of the ult, which was really good to show he wasn't able to do anything here, as it actually was a very nice arrow coming out of base to find the pick onto Kurek. So they start off this fight in a very good position where Chirp is just able to stack up the Conqueror, get the miasma down, which means Kurek can't flash out of the fight until the last second, but you know, Chirp finds the really good angle to flash over the wall and hit Schoenfire as he goes straight back into Lai, which is another team fight happening.
It is another team fight, as you say. Schoen's so close to falling on down, but a clutch heal from Lemus's ultimate makes sure that he survives, and both junglers have to limp away with only 10% to their name. Findo, the last breath of a combo, says, maybe, just maybe, my death will mean something, but for him, there is no retaliation. The Ashe ult goes straight down the middle. I mean, he hits it from the base, but he can't hit it point and center. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the strength of the center miss. You know, breaking that line of sight, which means who flash forward, can't find that extra follow-up. You have to see if Tien does want to go for the flash onto, or not flash, but the dive onto Hooper here. Looks like he's just going to disengage, keep playing the side, keep playing for the priority. I will say though, one of the, you know, the better things about Fury's draft this game is that they have a side laner in Renekton. Even though he is behind, he is able to clear the waves in the 1v1 and offers some strength, so it's not just like the Gragas where you have to fall over and let it happen. Because you are that weaker, you know, tank mage-ish who's very bad at 1v1s. Renekton does have some strength as he does have access to some items right now.
Question becomes though, with those items, with those breakpoints, can Fury find a way to win an actual team fight? Because right now Nox jumps in, he's so far behind compared to Schoenfire. Just look at that scoreboard. So it's a 4v5 right off the bat. The Herald, forget about it, we go in for more. Schoen hits a double and he says, I've still got them all dotted up, just lock them down, put them to sleep, and put this game to rest. And at 16 minutes, they find a perfect ace.
Yeah, so Tomasino goes to cancel the TP there into Tien, but you know, he falls down the 1v1. But once again, this is one of the strengths of Ground Zero's comp, is like, if you dive into them, they are very strong. Whereas the Fury, if you dive into them, they're very strong. So we see Fury engage the team fight in the replay here, and their comp is not good at this. Ashe is not good at following up dive. Casio is not good at following up dive. These champs want champs to dive onto them, and we get to see the strength of Lilia when there is no CC to lock this champ down.
I think that's illustrated perfectly here, Telly, right, by the fact that you can see Hooper and Chirp sitting on the outskirts for such a long time, waiting for the moment to shine. When they do go in, they just die. There's just nothing left.
Yeah, it's way too hard for these like a mobile slow champs to navigate. They don't really have like the ability to just flash forward and blow the game up there yet. Casio needs a lot more items before she's able to play that way, but the game state still isn't too bad for them. They still have the team comp, even with the gold lead being so like astronomical right now. They are still in a winnable position.
Let's see if they can find their way out of this hole that they are in. You mentioned a winnable position. They're down 8,000 gold right now. You do look at the carry spread on Grand Zero. In fact, there's just too many targets to get through, but maybe, just maybe, there's a world in which you can answer back. There's the air shot, and there's the shutdown. Most importantly, Chirp takes down Shern for 30 seconds and gets a whole bountiful amount of gold as a result thereafter. Out goes the Dawning Shadow, keeps everybody topped up and healthy, and ensures that they will not lose anymore in the process. Fury instantly then turn their attention towards their second Drake.
Yeah, and this is one of the strengths of Fury, who just keep fighting regardless of game state, is they catch the enemy off guard. They're able to find these random picks when people are face checking. You never expect people to be in the bush there. They find the pick onto the most important member of Shernfire, and they're going to be able to secure single. We'll have to see if Chirp does find the pick on the end. Not going to, but they are collapsing onto mid lane, and they're going to regain control. They're going to regain some side lane control, some ability to, you know, secure gold. It's really, like, Hooper needs his Triforce. He needs to get the Infinity Edge. He needs to come online.
He certainly does need to come online, and I talk about the side lanes. I mean, top lane's completely
Leanne wins this.
Thomasina's answering out in this one. Chirp is going to say, I can lock you in place for a few seconds, but is that enough? Conqueror stacked up, Twin Fangs coming out thick and fast, but Lemus is there to rotate a little bit quicker than Chirp, who doesn't receive any protection until he is already gone. There is the depth charge knocking up two. Final on the flank with the Indomitable active. Can do one little headbutt, then gets put to sleep, flashing across the wall, but he's still seemingly going to fall on down. It's just absolute terror here from Ground Zero that see a target, kill a target, and are showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, this is just the strength of Ground Zero. They know they can't fight the Dragon after losing their members, so they go for like the midway push into the vision control. Chirp splits off, and like once this comp is not grouped together, it's so hard for them to team fight because there's just so many different threats that can come over walls, so many different abilities you need to worry about. Nighthawks, the Lilia bowling balls, you know, there's so much damage that just comes out of nowhere if you're split up, and the only time Fury is strong is when they're playing these front-to-back team fights.
Well, it's a pretty strong start here for game number 2 as we get closer to the 20-minute mark. 6 grubs, 6 towers, 6 wins, it would seem, at this stage if we try and really carry that narrative on. But this was a bit of a, I want to say, anticlimactic 1v1, because in the end it was just who could rotate first.
Yeah, this was just, you know, Chirp doesn't have access to the flash, so he can't really outplay Tien at this point. He's always going to get, like, ulted next speed. But the rest of the team rotating is just getting cleaned up by, you know, Ground Zero were going to come anyway, regardless of how the 1v1 turned out, and they just had numbers at this point.
Secrets up together, 10k gold lead is the big takeaway now as well, right? They've certainly showcased that. You can have carries, you can be strong, laning phase can be one thing, but can you continue to display those levels once the mid-game comes around? I think some team, or a team like Ground Zero, just have too much versatility in approaching this one, and yeah, I think Fury have been upended on this occasion.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw Hooper being so strong in the early game, but he's just not getting access to items right now. He's falling behind the clock when it comes to the DPS, but they keep finding these picks. As we see another arrow land to Shernfire. Hooper has access to the flash, he wants to go forward.
Sides against it in the end. Hooper actually gets tagged up, instantly cleansing out of that one. Does not want to get put to sleep anytime soon. Kurek jumps in, looking to try and do as much as he can. And that's so many members just burning to that of a Lilia. The Liandry's value just through the roof. Double kill so far. About to be a triple. And back to back to back is what we're looking to try and do here. Just absolute annihilation.
Yeah, center ult straight down the middle of the entire Fury roster, obliterates the entire team. Lemus is doing so much damage. He just keeps, you know, honestly, he's feeding a bit in the early game, but he's becoming so strong when it comes to these mid-game team fights. And like, once again, we're seeing the center, I think, go undefeated today.
Dancing Shelly, is it happening? 400 HP and a dream with 6 scrubs and a legion of Void Mites on the base as well. Where's Kitty when you need her? It's time for Dancing Shelly.
Yeah, honestly, really, really good performance from Ground Zero. Even though they had like these weak points, these shaky points in the game, they know how to really snowball games when they get a tiny lead. They close out in extremely clean fashion from, you know, even game state. So it's really good to see that they were able to just completely blow the game out of the water pretty much, and win in a comfortable fashion.
That they certainly did. Still undefeated. Fury up against Ground Zero. Not to be the decider here today. They got tested. Fury certainly gave them a strong run of it in the first 15. But we're going to have to wait until next week when Ground Zero go up against Team Bliss to have that real heavy hitter as to will they still be undefeated. As for Fury, the death march goes on. Another defeat here today, but still showing signs of life. And that does it for us tonight. We'll jump to a quick break, and we'll break it all down after this.